What is up, ladies and gents? We are back, and in today's video I am going to go over the update launch release notes for Throne and Liberty on the 26th. For those of you that may or may not have time to actually read it for yourself but want to have it playing in the background while you're doing something else, maybe you're heading to work, but here you go ahead and hit play and listen on. A wealth of stories, experiences, and adventures are quickly approaching the gates of Silesium, opening for early access on September 26th and full launch on October 1st. With release on the horizon, we wanted to take a moment and share some important information regarding Throne and Liberty. Below, you'll find a letter from our team discussing our vision of the future and learn about launch build updates and the differences between open beta and the launch version of Throne and Liberty. Team letter. Over the past year and a half, we've been letting the voice of the players show us the way. We've been working hand in hand with NCSoft at every turn to test the game, gathering player feedback, analyzing it, and using it to help guide our development. Extensive revisions have reshaped the game considerably since its initial launch in Korea last December. Since then, the leveling process has been overhauled for better pacing as you first begin your journey into Silesium. We've introduced a better education and guide system to help players learn the game, better pacing for system introductions, and a variety of engaging quest types beyond simple monster slaying. Gear progression has been significantly improved, with higher tiers now granting meaningful power increases and a more generous reward structure during the leveling journey and beyond. Combat and build diversity have been a major focus, with the introduction of skill specialization for deep customization, an increased skill cap of 24 active abilities per weapon combination, armor sets with passive bonuses, an option to customize camera smoothing, and an overhauled combat system featuring skill shots and permanent crowd control breakers (CC). Controller play has been revamped with improved camera controls and streamlined skill execution. We've made strides in enhancing fairness and balance for PvP, with iterations to dynamic events, guild alliance restrictions, power scaling in lower leveled zones, and the introduction of 1v1 conquest battles to foster an even playing field. Additionally, some crafting materials have been made non-tradable to improve fairness. We've increased drop rates in several content areas to help with solo progression and improve the distribution of lucent rewards across various activities. Throne and Liberty will launch with a vast variety of new modes, features, and content. We've added a new PvP mode with 3v3 arenas and brought PvE content to parity with PvP through the introduction of co-op dungeons and the Gate of Infinity, as well as Amitoy expeditions, lifestyle activities like fishing and cooking, and a dedicated photo mode. We've also made quality of life improvements such as clustering auction houses across servers to improve economic stability, improved looting rules, cross-server party matchmaking, and the removal of experience and debuff penalties upon death. These changes are just some of the examples of things we've improved by listening to your feedback, and we're not done yet. Our goal is to build a world that is constantly evolving based on your experience. We've already witnessed significant transformations from the Korean launch to now, guided by your participation and feedback. This evolution will continue post-launch as we pour everything into crafting a special MMO experience. Your needs and preferences will still steer our course, shaping the game's future with each update. Launch build updates. For those who played in the open beta, find a list of major changes from your last journey into Silesium compared to the version you'll soon experience during early access and full launch. Before early access begins, we will also release a team update granting a first look at the content you expect to arrive after launch, along with our approach to rolling out key updates after the gates of Throne and Liberty open. New content. A system for skill specialization that expands combat and build diversity. This system includes over 250 specializations across all skills and allow for deep customization to add upgrades or even change the skill entirely. Lifestyle content. Fishing. Use a fishing rod and bait next to any body of water, and fish that are caught can be used within recipes needed for cooking lifestyle content. Fishing also provides a small chance to obtain bags that have greater rewards. Cooking. Players are able to craft food with special effects using cooking ingredients obtained through hunting, gathering, fishing, and purchasable from NPCs. Players have the ability to cook feasts which provide buffs for the entire party. Amitoy expeditions. Players can now send their Amitoys on expeditions to gather various items useful for player growth, and the new cooking system. Collecting various Amitoys will allow you to tailor the Amitoy you send on each expedition, with certain Amitoy increasing chances of rewards for different expeditions. Weekly missions. Each week, a series of missions is available to players across a variety of content. Rewards for completed missions can be checked at the start of the following week, and players can choose one reward from the available options. Dynamic Event Co-op. In this version of Dynamic Events, players will work together to achieve a common goal and progress to the next stage of the event. If all stages are completed, a boss will be summoned for all players to defeat. That's new. I haven't seen that yet. 3v3 arenas. A new instant PvP 3v3 arena mode has been added, and players may enter through solo queue or party queue. To queue through the party queue, players must already be in a pre-existing party of 3. Now, for the leveling, progression, and gear. For players who finish all the content in chapter of the Adventure Codex before reaching the recommended level for the next chapter, additional guidance on supplementary content will be provided to help them continue progressing their character level. This will help prompt the player to complete contracts, work on the exploration codex, or participate in co-op dungeons. We've also adjusted the timing for several quests to better distribute when systems are introduced in response to player feedback that too many systems were introduced too early on. Adjusted the milestone system pacing to find a balance that serves both hardcore and less hardcore audiences. During open beta, leveling was sped up to allow players more time to test the in-game content. These changes have been reverted to ensure that the leveling speed and the power progression will be at the intended pace for launch. Updated the minimum level to engage with the auction house from level 15 to level 40. That's going to be good. Honestly, that's going to make, a lot harder for bots to just flood the markets early on. Item updates. Applied updates to many epic tier items to bring their power to the appropriate level for a fresh launch. For example, Arc Boss weapons. Tevin's War Blade of Despair, the damage has been decreased by 20%. The base strength has been decreased from 5 to 4. The base dexterity decreased from 4 to 3. The base stun chance decreased from 50 to 42. The Queen's Bellendir Languishing Blade, the damage was decreased by 20%. It seems like they did that with all the weapons. I'm not going to go into specifics because it's pretty much the same thing. They just nerfed basically all of the Arc Boss weapons to be a bit more reasonable, which I think is good. Now, weapons. Same thing with the other bows. Let's see. Alon's Rejuvenating Longbow. The new effect has a 5% chance to restore 110 health upon landing an attack. Health recovery boosted during rain. After it restores 110 health per second for 6 seconds upon landing an attack with a longbow skill with a cooldown of 30 seconds. Tubelix Shattering Quarterstaff. It used to be critical hit chance increase value has been decreased from 30 to 20 for each 1 meter distance between the target, and the hit range from 11.4% changed to skill cooldown speed of 5.7. Same thing with the Liquirius Wicked Thorns. Base damage increase upon using mobility skills has been decreased from 50 to 25, and offhand double attack chance decreased from 30% to 26. I feel like that was a pretty decent nerf, I guess. They got rid of the damage because every time you would roll, especially in PvP, a lot of people still even use Liquirius Grip, even in Korea still, because it still has, because of that one passive, it's really good. Liquirius is Coveted Tome. When your health goes below 20%, stealth duration has been decreased from 7.5 to 3 seconds. So that's a pretty good, because you get like double stealth because you could use your cloak, and then that one would actually save you if you're getting attacked and you drop to a certain amount. You could just run away. Minizarok's Daggers of Crippling updated the effect. So before it was on hit with a dagger, has an 8% chance to apply Weaken Curse, which decreases melee defense by 410. And now it decreases melee magic and range defense by 150. That, I feel like that's kind of like a slight nerf, but more of a buff, because it only affected melee, but now it affects all 3. So, but 150 may not seem like a much, but it, I think it's a good amount. Malakar's Energizing Crossbows, offhand double attack chance increased from 20 to 28%. Odentis Gargantuan Greatsword. The base damage bonus while attacking with a greatsword per 1,000 health has been decreased from 6 to 3. That's pretty big, because every 1,000 health you would have more damage, but now they nerfed it down. So this is Gnarled Void Staff. So basically, it's like a huge list of a bunch of new nerfs. I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of list the new ones instead of the befores because it's irrelevant. So Chernobog's Blade of Beheading. Chernobog's Incubus cooldown increased from 17 seconds to 30 seconds. Kawazan's Stun Crossbow is the updated the effect. Attack speed is now increased by 6% at night. Kawazan's Twilight Daggers. Melee critical hit chance is now increased by 125 during the day. Rex Khmer's crossbow. The double attack chance decreased from 35 to 25. The Excavator's Mysterious Scepter. The Excavator's Breath now triggers on allies with less than 15% health instead of 40%. Talus's Crystalline Staff. The Cold Stone effect, cooldown increased from 51 seconds to 60. So if you ever got stunned, it would immediately protect you, and then they increase the cooldown on that special effect, was actually pretty good. It's a really good effect. It gives you kind of a chance to fight against Greatsword Dagger players. Now, set bonus updates. The Death set name updated to Shadow Harvester, which is the Reaper set, I'm assuming, because the 2 set bonus was 21%. They nerfed it to 14. The Ghost Wolf set, the bonus damage decreased from 22 to 18. The Grand General has been reduced from 22 DR to 18. We don't have much more. Let's see. Combat build diversity. Skills are acquired earlier, with the majority unlocking by level 36. That's good, because before you'd have to wait till level 50. Skill specialization will unlock at level 15, and you will acquire points until level 50. That's reasonable. During the process of incorporating skill specialization, many skills were adjusted to improve balance across all weapons. Dagger balance. In response to player feedback, we've taken specific action to add balance to the dagger weapon. The effect of the passive ability Destructive Fang has been changed from increasing critical hit chance to reducing a target's melee, ranged, and magical defense. Until this is tested, we're not even sure if that's really a nerf, because that's gonna be, at the end of the day, you're still doing more damage because you're increasing more damage because their defense has been lowered. Anyway, new skills. Great Sword, Devastating Smash. Jump at the target location and deal damage to all targets within a 3-meter radius with a chance to stun. It's not even a chance to stun. With all the specialization skills, it's almost guaranteed. Almost. It's consistent. Every time I've used it, I've basically stunned them. Sword, Witty Strike. Deal damage in a 120-degree angle to up to 3 targets while also recovering mana. Dagger, Predatory Claw skill has been deleted. It still exists. It's just in your poison ability now. Cleaving Moonlight has replaced Predator Claw, and it can be charged up to 3 meters away and attack all targets within a radius with a chance to deal damage 4 times when your secondary weapon is triggered. Vampiric Strike deals damage proportional to the base damage while also restoring health equal to some percentage of the damage inflicted. I haven't been convinced that this is useful yet. I've used it before. It definitely heals you, but not enough for me to want to use it yet. I haven't seen anybody really use it. Crossbow. Longbow. Binding Charge Tactic has been deleted. So I'm not sure what they mean by that. So does that mean like Ensnaring Arrow doesn't work? We'll figure that out on the update. Earth's Blessing. I gotta double check that. Earth's Blessing, passive skill that increases your health regen and increases the effectiveness of continuous health recovery skills. That's a new skill, which is really good. Healing Touch continuously heals a friendly target for 6 seconds, stacking up to 3 times. This is really good for staff longbow, or longbow dagger. Like, it just pair that up with flashbang arrow or flash arrow, and you basically heal to full quickly. You don't even need like a healer. You're basically like a DPS healer. You can kill people and heal yourself or allies. It's insane. Crossbow. Explosive Trap allows placement of a trap at a designated location. The trap will explode if any enemy is within its range, dealing damage or reducing movement speed. I haven't seen a useful situation with this yet. It exists, but I have yet to see a PvP situation where this has been extremely useful. But I would love to see that. Fireball Barrage deals damage 10 times while allowing you to perform other actions after initiated. Probably one of the best skills that the staff has now, especially that it can also reduce the mana of the player getting hit by that barrage. So basically leaving them defenseless because they have no mana to counter any of the skills that you have if they're continuously hit by continuous fireball barrages. Wand. Invincible Wall grants protection to a friendly target for 6 seconds or for the player itself. And the crazy part about this is that it's really good when you're fighting other players, because not only do they have to break the shield to hurt you, they have to kill you before you actually heal yourself. So it's a very sticky situation because it actually absorbs quite a bit of damage. You can still get stunned through it, but they can't hurt you until they break the actual shield, or we have to wait for the 6 seconds for it to go away, which is annoying too, because while you're waiting for those 6 seconds, they're just free hitting you as a healer. Skills now all start at uncommon tier, except omnipotent skills. All skills now grant their full effect starting at uncommon. And upgrading skills is focused on effectiveness of the skill rather than the abilities the skill grants. That's new. So if they all start at uncommon, that means before, like, some of the skills started already at epic. So that means you have to upgrade all of the skills. But I can't wait to see how it actually looks. So on early access, I'll definitely update my opinion on this to see if that's exactly how it is, because it's not like that in Korea. I didn't see that it was that way in early access, in the beta test. But if this is new, this is something kind of important to know, because that means you're definitely going to need a lot of precious ores and paper to upgrade your skills. Because instead of only upgrading certain skills to epic, you got to upgrade all of them now. So that's kind of a big deal. New stats: critical hit damage reduction stat has been added, which reduces the increased critical damage caused by critical hit damage set. Shield penetration chance stat has been added, which reduces the chance the target shield will impact your attack. This is really good. A lot of great sword daggers have that. They actually can penetrate you, especially with in Korea. This isn't going to be in global, but like with the rune systems to look forward to, you can actually get passives that help your shield penetration chance. Now, precious purification stone has been added, which is really good. I like that, allowing players to remove CC effects. It is not consumed in use and has a 2-minute cooldown. Now, I wonder if it's going to be the same amount of the way you get it, like the way it was in Korea, where you have to farm for it and then you can unlock it, and it's a permanent consistent use. It's infinite uses just off cooldown, or do they automatically give that to you? That I'm curious to see how they do that. Now, next thing, a CC immunity system has been introduced for PvP. When CC is applied, a gauge will begin to fill. Ooh, while the CC remains in effect, and the gauge will begin to deplete while no CC is in effect. Different forms of CCs will fill the gauge at different rates. If the gauge fills fully, a 1.5 second buffer begins, and when it ends, the player will be immune to CC for 5 seconds. If you are under the effect of CC when the immunity begins, the CC will be cleared along with the CC gauge. We've also reduced the time it takes to trigger the immunity. So that's going to be very useful, because one of the most annoying things fighting a lot of classes with a lot of crowd control is Greatsword, because of the fact that they can hit you with the shock stun. They can also silence you. They can also hit you with the devastating blow. Those are all things that can stun you. Same thing with other classes, like the longbow can give you a bind that basically feels eternal, and now staff can now give you. Those are all new things, but the most annoying one was the melee one. So the fact that you get some immunity to it is a nice change, and I'm curious to see how it's implemented. Player character controls and camera. Improve the available settings to allow you more control of your character. Reduce character inertia. Blah blah blah. To fit the typical playstyle of a wider audience. So there's some new stuff. I'm not going to go over that. PvP balance and fairness. Introduce new power scaling and lower level zones to better let new players experience dynamic events in their designated areas. So what they mean by that is, I've actually seen this in the faction events, not even the faction events, the normal peace events. You actually get nerfed to a certain level. So let's say you're level 50 and you enter like a level 20 zone. Your mana regen is nerfed. The amount of mana that you waste is actually, you waste a lot more. So new players can actually compete with a more experienced player, because you actually are scaled to their level to make it fair and actually compete for the rewards in those low level areas. Before, it wasn't like that. People who were just overgeared would just get number one in those lower level areas, and I didn't like that for not even just myself, but for other players. Because yeah, I'd always get top 10, but it kind of sucks for, let's say, a level 10 or level 20 players that's new to the game. They're trying to compete for the number one spot, farming for wolf tails, and lo and behold, somebody at level 55 is over here farming just because they want quick activity points. Anyway, that's good. Miscellaneous. Now here's the last parts. Improved looting rules to allow more fair loot distribution among parties and guilds. Really good, by the way, because now you can be in a party and everyone gets drops. It's not just a person that hit the tag. Much better. Probably the best changes they've ever done. It's already active in Korea. Removed experience and other loss penalties that occurred after dying. Probably one of the best things they could have done. It was a pointless thing. I never understood why MMOs did that. Really, really, really good change. Reduced the buff players receive when entering dungeons to matchmaking featured to 5% damage increase and 5% health increase. It used to be a lot more. I kind of wish they kept that the same, because some players don't have the capacity to have the skill to do some of the dungeons. I know the dungeons are a lot easier for most players, but the reality is the majority of players aren't that they they just want to get off work and just play casually, and I completely respect that. So having that extra HP and the extra damage helps them clear the content, whereas somebody who's more experienced and polished doesn't have the patience to play with players like that. It helps them kind of balance each other out. Let's see, added a guild tech system to allow players to more easily search for guilds with similar playstyles. Treasure goblins now appear periodically in all hunting grounds with a high probability of dropping valuable rewards such as abyssal contract tokens, materials, and gear. We wish you luck in your hunt. These guys are actually pretty good. I've killed a couple of them. I haven't seen decent ones with epic gear, so I'm assuming for early launch they're going to be very useful because they drop a lot of blues. So definitely good for farming traits. So definitely get that loot goblin. He has a lot of HP. Improved the scoreboards for conquest battles and siege. Added a unique class name to each weapon combination to enhance the player fantasy through dedicated archetypes in the game as a direct response to player feedback. Multiple system rewards have been tweaked. Most importantly, we've improved the rewards available for dynamic events to better reward players for the effort put into successfully clearing. I don't know what the rewards are for global, but I hope they are much better. Currently in Korea, you get runes, but hopefully it's something better because than just food. So reduce the requirements for crafting equipment chests. They require dimensional shards and abyss currencies. I'm curious what that means. Reduce the requirements for crafting equipment chest. Okay, so I'm guessing after you farm a certain amount of dungeons, it costs like 80 of that specific dungeon's tokens to get the item. And it costs like 80 abyss currency to get like a drop, and 40 for some of the ones that were cheaper. So maybe if they reduce it even more to like maybe 10 or 20, that'll be interesting, and it'll probably flood the market with a lot more useful items early on, which is going to be healthy. Or it could be also bad because, like I said, it could definitely flood the market with too many items. So dramatically lowering the price in the auction house. Expanded the offering of items available with ornate coins. That's one thing I never liked about Throne is the ornate coins, because I never really had a use for it. Nobody really uses that. So the last bit that we have is looking ahead. As we head towards launch, we want to ensure you're armed with the information you need to maximize and enhance your early journey into Silesium. If you haven't read it yet, make sure to review our launch prep Throne and Liberty servers article to learn about the server experience and how to find the right one to call home. Before early access begins, we will also release a team update granting a first look at the content you can expect to arrive after launch. Along with our approach to rolling out key updates of the Gates of Throne and Liberty open, we're ecstatic to embark on this adventure together. Early access on September 26th and full launch on October 1st are just the beginning. We invite you to jump in, immerse yourself in the rich tapestry, and help us shape its future. The world of Throne and Liberty awaits, and the pen is in your hands to write its story. We'll be right there with you every step of the way, listening, adapting, and pouring our passion into making this a special MMO experience for you, the players who make it all possible, and the journey is only about to begin. So we'll see you in Silesium. That's the entire essay minus like the weapon changes, because it's not, that's something you could look at yourself. This is just general information, team update, launch, release notes. Hopefully that told you a lot that you needed to know. And tomorrow, maybe tomorrow or after work or Sunday, I'm gonna make a tier guide for some of the best weapons to choose for global that are S and A class. Anything that's below that, I'm not gonna bother with, because I'm only gonna show you what I've personally seen in Korea that's consistently used in the meta. But yeah. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, guys, don't forget to subscribe, follow the channel, join the Discord, and there is 20 to 30 spots left in the guild for NA East. I will be allying with Excelsior. Well, like I said, I only want to manage one guild, so I don't want to do too much. So I want to be a branch guild of Excelsior. It's going to be called Excelsior Trauma Unit. So if you don't want to be left behind and want to be a part of a competitive guild that's consistently not getting steamrolled in a new server, feel free to join. Hit the applications, which are in the Discord below. And yeah, we'll tell you what the server will join soon, as we don't want to share too much information. So thank you guys, and as always, guys, stay blessed.